Welcome everyone. In this video I will share with you another one of my tips for gaining and keep control of my classroom. I will show you the procedures I use to get my class started off right and focused. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Gabriel Vigil. I've been teaching 8th grade through 12th grade history for a total of 18 years in Southern California. My goal is to create a channel where we can come together as a community to share tips, share ideas, share support, and just a place where we can encourage each other. Because once again, we are stronger together. And together we can help each other turn our lemon days into lemonade weeks. If you have not already done so, please subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the video. So each class period starts this way. I'll normally be standing at the front of my door, and now the door normally be propped open. And so when the door is propped open, I'll kind of stand right here. I used to stand outside, but the problem is every time I stood outside, I always seemed to be a problem with something going on inside. And then sometimes I stood all the way inside, like far in the room, but then of course it'd be a problem with people coming into the door. So I found the best spot for me to be at was going to be right here. So right here, I can see what's going on outside, if any kind of commotion and problem coming in. And I can also see what's going on inside the classroom at the same time. It's a great place to be. And then also what happens is that when students walk in, if they kind of walk in real noisy, real distractive, just playing around, I can stop it right away before that energy comes into my room. And so I'll just stand here pretty much the entire time. We have a passing period of 4 minutes. So I'll kind of stand here for 4 minutes. And students know for the most part not to really talk to me or ask me for anything for the first couple of minutes of class. Because my job is to set the tone of the class before the whole class begins. Because if I don't, then it could quickly go off the tracks. And so I'll stand here, and then normally what happens, the bell will ring. And then I'll quietly come over here and close that door. I'll close that door. And then I'll walk to the front of the room. Now, as I'm walking to the front of the room, of course, I have my clipboard. All right, I always have my clipboard. If you don't know what I do with this clipboard, I'll put a link down below to another video that talks about how I live and die by this clipboard. But I'll normally stand about in the middle of the room, somewhere right around here, and I'll start taking roll. And since I have the seating chart on here, it's real easy for me to take roll. And I would just kind of see where students are sitting at and quickly make notes on the seating chart as well as my attendance that's on the back of this. And then I could probably take roll about 30 seconds, just looking, because at that time, students know to come in and they know to sit down right away and they know to do the work right away. And so seating chart helps me do roll very quickly. And then about 30 seconds will pass. If the class is a little hyper still and not quite down, I'll say something. My verbiage goes like this: all right, it's been about 30 seconds. You should be working by now. And then that usually will be the last thing needed to get the class quiet. Another thing I did or used to do, and I wouldn't mind doing it again, is something had a Yakka tracker which kept track of the volume. I'll talk about that in another video, but that was another key thing I had at one point in time to kind of get the volume down. But I'll talk about that some other time. But 30 seconds will pass. I'll stand up here. And once again, I'll say, all right, should be quiet by now. And then I'll let a few seconds pass. I'll kind of look at my watch at that time period. And I'll look at my watch, and a few seconds will pass. If it's still talking, then what I'll do is I'll come over here, and I'll put a note where it says teacher. All right, I'll put a note where it says teacher on the board. I'll explain that point system later on. And then I'll kind of go back to the room. I said, should be quiet. And if it's still talking, I'll go there, put another point. By that time, for sure, it should be quieted down. If not, I can start actually looking at individual students. But normally how my class will work is, as long as I'm standing by that door, then they will come in fairly quietly, sit down, and they'll start the work. And if they don't, usually it takes about 30 seconds, a minute to totally quiet everybody down. And my students know the rules, they know the procedures, they know to come in, have something ready to go. Do they always do that? Definitely not. They don't always do that. But generally speaking, that's kind of how it runs. And what the students are doing, and here's the key, the students are working on an activity. If you look behind me here at the screen, hopefully you see it all. I'll kind of back a little bit here in case you need to see more of it. there will be an assignment. There's always an assignment on the screen. I tell the students, as soon as you walk in, there will always be something for you to do. And they'll basically work on the activity that they see on the screen. Now, here's the key about the activity on the screen. It needs to be easy. It needs to be something they can do without my assistance at all. Because if they need my assistance, of course, that becomes a problem because it takes away from me doing my routine of doing roll and everything else. And so what they need to work on is what they see on the screen. Normally, it's like fill out your planner, set your paper up, answer these questions. And they're easy questions. Sometimes they'll just be copied down a definition. And the duration kind of depends upon the activity, but you're maybe looking at 5 minutes, 8 minutes the most. But what's great about that time is it quiets the class down. I'm able to do my attendance. And then that takes maybe, oh, love those bells. That maybe takes 5, so maybe attendance altogether takes me about 3 minutes to quiet the class down and do attendance, of course. And so I'll finish my attendance as they're working on this, and then I'll basically walk over here to my desk. And I'll at my desk, then I'll go ahead and log on to my attendance and take my attendance. Then when that is done, here's the other great part about it. I still have about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to spare. I'll walk around the room. And during that time period, I usually work on my housekeeping things. So maybe I need to talk to a student about their grade, or I need to talk to a student because they need to make up a test, or whatever it might be, or maybe they had a detention and never showed up. Something, whatever my housekeeping is, I'll talk to a student about the housekeeping. And that still gives me a little bit of time. And then at that point in time, I'll walk around to see who's working on task, not on task, and everything else. But the key is this. Those first few minutes sets the tone of the entire class. And once that tone is set, it makes the rest of the class a lot easier. So once again, the key is this. They'll come into class, and by that front door, they'll come in. They'll start working on the assignment that's on the screen. It usually takes no more than a minute to quiet the class down. I do my attendance. I do some housekeeping. I'll walk around the room. Now, the other great thing I have put in place, once again, the students know not to really talk to me for the first 5 minutes of class, is if a student comes in late, they know that what they need to do is basically they'll come over here and they will put their late notice or their little tardy slip in my in bin. Once again, they don't have to bring it to me. They don't talk to me about nothing. They just quietly come over there, put in the in bin. That leaves me time to manage the class. So that is kind of my first 5-7 minutes of the class. I hope that helps. And once again, if you have any questions, hey, just do that YouTube thing. Hit the like button, subscribe, and feel free to send me an email if you want. Please make a comment if there's any material you would like me to cover. But that's normally how my first 5 minutes of class works. Thank you for watching. And as I'm going to say, here's my little slogan here. We're going to make, as a community, we're going to make our lemon days into lemonade weeks. Have a good day. Thank you for watching the video. If you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button or click on one of the other links.